So you and your friend want to make a film. Awesome. One of you can film, and one of you can act. But what if you both want to act? Well, the good news is, I think that's very possible, and I think in these situations you get more creative than you would do if you had more of you involved. So you'll probably end up making a great film. And in this video I've broken down how you can make a film with just 2 people in 4 simple steps. Step 1 is all about crafting your narrative. How are you going to create your narrative in a way for it to make sense for there just to be 2 actors? There's 2 ways to go about this. The first way is the obvious way. You just have 2 characters. One of you plays one character, the other plays the other character. Very simple, very straightforward. The second way is a bit more complicated. That's if you want to make a film with more than 2 characters involved. You have multiple ways to go about this. So you can either have your other characters wear masks to hide the fact that you're the same actors, or you could clone yourselves, showing the face and everything. And if that's the case, you have another 2 options. You can either make it so that the clones are part of the narrative, there's a narrative reason for there being clones, or you could go the more goofy route and not really explain it and just have it, there are just clones in the film, which you can do, but then it tends to look more like a skit instead of a film. But those are your options. So you need to decide, how you're going to create a narrative with just 2 actors. And I also think this is really important because your restrictions, just being the 2 of you, can create a new narrative. For example, the clones. Maybe you would have never made a film that has clones in it before. Now maybe you're making a film with clones. So it can shape your narrative. Your restrictions will shape your narrative, which I think is awesome. Step 2. Step 2 is my second favorite part of making a film just with one other friend. And step 2 is all about the actual filming, the shots, the type of shots you can use. So there's the basic, wide shot. You just get your camera, whether you have a tripod or you balance it on some books, like I'm doing right now. You just have your camera in a static position, and you make it wide so you can see the 2 of you. That's pretty basic. You can still do over the shoulder shots, but it'll just take a bit of time because you'll need to go. You'll need to keep checking to see if if you're filming what you want to be filming. But then you can get a bit more creative. For example, one of my favorites is the POV, and I even do this when I have, when I don't have to do the POV, when I have, multiple people. But I just like the POV. I think especially if your narrative is a bit weird, if it's a bit quirky, the POV can add to that sort of strange feeling. So all that is just one of you holds the camera and the other one looks into the camera's eyes as if the camera is. It's a POV. I don't know. I'm explaining it. You know what I mean. And just like with the narrative, I feel your restrictions can really shape the way the film is filmed in a really cool way. For example, I'll show you this scene that I shot years ago. I was quite a long time ago, and there were 4 of us, so there weren't 2 of us, but all 4 of us needed to be in the scene. It's a very goofy scene, just warning you. But yeah, all 4 of us needed to be in the scene, but because we didn't have an extra person filming, we had to find a way to film the scene with all 4 of us being in it. And I think we ended up coming up with something quite fun.
No! I'm not coming with you one more goddamn time! This is my dad's revolver, alright? I need another gun! This is my mom's pistol! I will shoot one of you! Don't have enough guns. And this is my gun! So stay back and let me pass.
Yeah, it's a bit unpolished, it's a bit rough, but that was mainly because we were younger. If you know, the actual shots themselves, I find are quite creative, and we would have never shot it in that way if we just had another person with a camera. If we had another person with a camera, we would have probably just shot just some basic shots like wides, over the shoulders. But because we couldn't do that, we did some really fun stuff, which were formed in our restrictions. So really look at what, okay, maybe you would have wanted to do an over the shoulder, or I know you can do an over the shoulder, but it's just a bit more complicated. Maybe you would have wanted to do this shot or that shot, or a tracking shot. By the way, actually, speaking of tracking shots, you can still do movement, but digital movements. If you just shoot a really wide shot, if you use DaVinci Resolve, you can use the 3D camera to make it look like there's movements, and that's and it's free, by the way. So you can still have movement in your shots, but just they'll be digital movements. But anyway, say you want to do a walking tracking shot when you're following someone from behind. Yeah, maybe you can't do that, but what you can do instead, who knows what you can do instead, and you'll discover these things because you can't do that original tracking shot that you wanted to do. So yeah, again, embrace the restrictions. Now, step 3, and this is my favorite part about making a film with just one other person, and that is the acting. If you're making a film and there's a big crew, it can be a bit stressful, for the actor. It can be a little bit hard to really get into character, and it can definitely be very hard to experiment, to try new things, because you have loads of people relying on you getting this take correct. If you're just with another friend, there's no one waiting around, there's no one relying on you getting this take, there's no one relying on you making this the perfect take. You can take as many takes as you want, and you're not ruining anyone's day.
Yeah, okay, you should be.
I'm gonna start turned around.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Hello. I have nothing. I'm gonna start again. You can have so much fun with it. You can really experiment, assuming you're comfortable with your friend, which I hope you are, because you're making a film with them, just them. So it'd be a bit weird to do that with someone you're not comfortable with, I think. So assuming you're comfortable with your friend, you can really have fun with it. Go crazy. Go to extremes in your takes. Go to extremes, and then you can always dial it down if you feel it's too much. But you can really have fun. You can play. You can experiment in a way that you wouldn't be able to if there were a bunch of people waiting and relying on you. So that's the best part, I think. You can have fun. You have the space to have fun. Step 4 is the editing, which pretty basic stuff. I mean, there's plenty of tutorials on the internet. If you are doing clones, if you are using clones, again, tutorials on the internet. If you want to use the 3D camera for shots with movement, again, there's tutorials on YouTube. If you do need any help, I'm a professional editor myself, so you can send me a message via my website linked below. If you need any help with the editing. And also color grading. Color grading is very important, and sound's very important. But all of this, I'm not going to go over in this video. That's more for you to find in other videos, unless you already know how to edit, or again, send me a message. All good. And yeah, that is how you make a film just with 2 people. And again, the main takeaway with this is your restrictions will make your film better. Your restrictions will make you more creative. Embrace the fact that you don't have everything you'd want to have. And that will lead you to creating a better film. A film that maybe you would have never come up with if you had everything you wanted in the first place. Yeah,